Although I enjoyed Rideback, I can totally understand why I've never heard anyone talk about it. To me, it feels like an anime that's comprised of many smaller elements that are individually well done, but at the same time, the overall experience feels less than the sum of its parts. And I was curious about how this anime was represented when it first came out, because I remember it was one of those Funimation anime, and I think I might have seen it pop up on the trailer section of my old DVDs, so I went back and I watched that old Funimation trailer, and I feel like that might be partially responsible as to why nobody really cared about this, or not many people cared about this anime, because they A, misrepresent it, and B, they spoil it, because the trailer actually shows clips from the last episode. And that's upsetting to me. So that's kind of why I do my spoiler-free reviews, because they can be sufficient as trailers for the anime, so you know what you're getting yourself into. And yeah, there's some exciting moments in the last few episodes of this. There's a lot of exciting moments in this anime, but the journey of getting from point A to point B is part of the experience of watching it, and they kind of just rob that from you just by showing that to you in the trailer there. So I can imagine if there's people who watch that trailer and then watch the anime, they're going in there with totally the wrong expectation. Whereas me, I didn't really know anything about it when I started watching it, and the thing that attracted me to it the most was how it felt like the aesthetic antithesis of your typical mech anime, where, I love mech and all, but there's a lot of them that are just big, bulky machines that are walking around, crushing cars under their feet, and that's great. But I thought it was so refreshing that they injected this element of elegance and speed and beauty to it all. They really did, because the protagonist, the pilot, she is actually a child prodigy ballerina dancer who's famous all across Japan, and so was her mother. That's why she started so young, because she's basically following in her mother's footsteps. And then she had an injury, plot happens, and then she finds this mech. And I really love that, maybe she's not experienced with being a mech pilot or riding motorcycles or anything like that, but she does have the, I guess, muscle memory of a dancer, and that beautifully transitions over to her riding this machine. The basic synopsis for it is that there was this, the world government was basically overthrown. So it's something like the UN that was overthrown by I can't remember the initials to it, but there was this other group that overthrew them, and Japan is acting like a state within that overall, world government. I thought it was an interesting backdrop to the anime, because our central characters in the very beginning of the story, they're just going into college, so they're young, they've got so much going on for them, their lives are changing, yet at the same time, they're not dumb, they're aware of their surroundings, they see it in the streets, they see it on TV, and they know the world, the history and whatnot. But because it doesn't directly impact their lives, they're kind of in this bubble where they don't need to pay too much attention to it, and that bubble gradually shrinks as the anime moves forward, and it's not exactly what I wanted out of the anime, but it was still something I enjoyed for the increasing action, for the increasing drama, and the tension and suspense, and just everything that it became. And I enjoyed it, but I think what problems a lot of people have with this anime is that it feels like it really should be 24 episodes, and I tried reading the manga. It's 10 volumes long, and unfortunately only 2 volumes appear to be translated, and from what I gather, the plot progression is very different in the manga, and it seems like it's getting a very serious early on in the manga compared to the anime. But the problem is that when you look at the backdrop of the anime and see how serious the world situation is, you think, there's a lot about this picture that I don't think is right, and there's a lot here that I think needs to be fixed. But you've got 12 episodes, and your protagonist is a ballerina with a motorcycle mech. It's impossible odds. You just are not equipped to make any changes here. So even as I was at episode 10 out of episode 12, I was thinking, either this is going to be a cliffhanger, or it's going to have an ending that I'm not happy with. This does have a complete ending to it, and on one hand, I wasn't happy with it, but at the same time, I I think they really did the best they could with what they had in terms of making a 12-episode anime, so I can't really fault them for that. So overall, I think Madhouse did the best they could given the nature of the story, being faithful to the spirit of the manga, and also staying within 12 episodes. You know, it's really hard. There's so much going on here. There's so many characters that I think it's probably too many for 12 episodes, but yet they still did good by that because they got backstory, some of them developed, there's emotional bonds between them, and you even care for many of them during the dramatic scenes. So that was good. The animation was good. You know, there were some exciting scenes there, and just this feeling of speed as they blow down the streets and the cherry blossoms in the background are falling, and just everything here looks so beautiful except for the mechs. They are CG mechs. I'm not a fan of that, but you know, that's really the only aesthetic issue that I have here, aside from the couple times that they ride them and the character models are just like a static image, so they're just going like this. It doesn't look good, but it's not like we're constantly subjected to that, and I understand why they do that. But overall, I enjoyed the anime. I would give it a 7 out of 10, you know? I'm interested in hearing if you've read the manga, like if you can read Japanese and you can finish it. Let me know what some of the differences are in case I don't get around to that and what you think about that. If you decide to check out Rideback, come back and let me know what you think of it. And also, if you would like to support these videos or this channel, I have links in the video description to the Patreon chat or to the Patreon page and also to the Etsy because I make patches and I sell them there. So, and there we go. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.